Hey, welcome back to the Gadget Spot.
Owen still breathed.
Yeah, I was trying. That was me. I wanted, out of solidarity for Jarron, I wanted to ruin your 5-second count.
No,
but then I
was
thought,
okay because it was quiet enough breathing. I just muted Jarron. He's back now.
Have you unmuted me?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a mistake.
With how good I've been on the podcast lately, can I get bumped up from number 4 to a higher position?
you can have mine. Where am I at? I think
No,
I'm.
I don't want it if you just hand it out.
No,
You're number 2.
You guys are tied for 4.
Yeah, really. There's only 1 and 2, and then us, James.
And then I take 2 and 3.
I can't battle Owen.
You know what? That's
he has
me neither.
nothing to
The same.
lose.
Yeah,
That's a
really.
good point.
Look
Jarron,
at these
you're no
dead
longer
eye.
2 and 3. You're only 2. James, you're 3.
Yes. Wait. Yes. I think.
Oh, and that makes you 4, which you
Oh.
sound like you're okay with.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I'm
See?
still in the running. See, when I lose at Smash Brothers with you guys, I'm just glad that I was that I got in their ranking.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Owen excels with lowered expectations.
You seriously, you should try it out. It fixes so many problems.
That's right. Management of your expectations. So hopefully you, dear listener, have managed your expectations for this episode.
Yeah.
This is the Gadget Spot where we talk about tech, gadgets, and video games. And we are going to kick it off by introducing the panel. Holding down the number 4 spot, Owen.
Yes. That's me, Owen. Follow me on Twitter at TechNoan. You want 4th place tweets? You got it. I actually tweeted.
I saw that.
I think somebody said that you'll never see this, and so I was like, oh yeah. Wow.
I liked your tweet even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, James coming in at number 3.
I haven't made a number 3 sign.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's what you were
That's
doing.
nice, you know?
He's gonna
Let's
scan
say
it.
right there.
Unfortunately,
Until-
because of the glare of your window. Ah, there it is. Now
It's
we
going
can
to stay right there. Oh,
That's a
geez,
good
Phil.
looking 3.
Yeah, not
Thank
bad
you.
for a couple.
It looks like a Sesame Street 3.
I
Yeah, like-
originally did it with my wife's lip gloss that I found in a drawer.
Oh, is that what that part in the middle is?
I thought you were
Yeah.
painting your nails when you were turning it around like that.
it's,
That was quick. That was quick. You drew that in record time.
Is lip gloss. I
Yeah.
found
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It looks kind of like a curvy snake. That
Yeah, it does
3.
look like a snake.
It does kind of look like a snake.
From like Snake.io.
No, like that. Your 3 looks like a snake.
Oh, you're
So
lying.
there's just a snake behind you the whole time. It's good. Anyway, James, go ahead and introduce
Introduce
yourself.
yourself, James.
You can catch me. I'm number 3.
Numero trace.
Or on Twitter at JDD Jensen, or literally anywhere else at Funeral Taters. It's weird because normally I go right before the host,
I know,
but he likes the number 3 because he likes numbers. His name's Jarron. I don't.
That was
Nah,
pitiful.
you better
This
just let
is-
me do it. Better just
No.
let me do it.
I'll
Yeah.
call it. That was
All
fair.
right.
Fair. That was fair.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Calling it fair. That was good. It was a accounting joke.
I rescind my terrible.
Well, all right then.
This is Jarron. You can find me on Twitter at Jarron. And we got a host.
Yeah, it's me, Tony. Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony or on the Geek Show podcast. Now we need to do a shout out, and we get to do a shout out to our Patreon backers because they are the best, and they keep this train rolling from station to station, helping us purchase equipment when we need it.
Indeed. And if you guys want to tip us, go to patreon.com/GadgetSpot. And if you donate $6 or more, we give you a shout out right now. So big shout out and thank you to AJ Jasper, David Broshinsky, Austin Beauregard, Aaron Young. Thank you guys. And thank you to Masks. We don't need no stinking masks. Boy,
I think I said that last time.
Badgers.
I feel
we don't-
guilty saying that every week.
We don't need no stinking badgers.
Josh Dorius, Brian J. Vander Zowen III, Aaron Langford, Crod Gilbert, Dick Messerly, Splinter, Hardware, Adam Hecht, Ryan Baker, Aaron Faulkner, Joe, Adam Foote, Ryan, Michael Beck, Wiffleball Tony, Conrad Southworth, Matthew Bailey, V for Valentine, and Twyman. T for Twyman. Thank
Gosh, dang it. I love those guys so much.
Thank you so much, Patreon backers. All right, and then shout out to Biobidet. Go to biobidet.com, order a bidet to clean your butt with water the right way. Use code GadgetSpot and get 10% off your purchase. Now,
That was a dad shaking of the head right there.
Who's Jarron's?
Oh,
In-
yeah,
indeed,
Jarron.
Indeed, it was. I'll be back in a second.
Oh, remember that one time that he propped himself up as being a lot better than me? And remember how my daughter's still in her crib right now?
Yeah,
I think you have
nailed
one
it.
up on him. Yeah, Yep.
Nailed it.
Well
because
done.
my kids go to bed by 7:30.
Does that mean I'm number 2? Can I be number 2? Speaking of number 2, if you want to clean off your number 2, get Biobidet. Which,
Yeah,
by the way,
we already did that part.
oh, I had a good story I wanted to tell about cleaning butts.
No, I don't think we need to hear a story about cleaning butts. Let's see. So we have some emails, Jarron said, but I think we'll kick it off with a voicemail. You ready?
James.
You ready,
I'll
James?
play the voicemail, but I won't talk about cleaning butts. It's fine. Let me just turn this.
You know,
up.
that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you so much. Happy
I'm sorry.
birthday to me a week late.
Happy birthday to you, by the way. And later on in the podcast, I'm going to tell you how I got attacked by a gang of ducks 2 days ago.
My name is Stefan Watson. Hey guys, this is actually the voice actor that mailed you guys a couple of weeks ago. I had a question primarily for James, but still kind of like everyone. And that is, I've been working with Resolve, DaVinci Resolve for the last, I'd say like a couple of months. Been loving it. But as I've been getting more and more involved in acting, so many more people have started to refer me over to like the entire Adobe line. So I would actually like to know, when it comes to creating videos and working with content that way, would you prefer to work more so with Resolve or with something in the Adobe lineup? So can't wait to go and hear it. And of course, if you guys ever need anything else voice acting wise, feel free to go and give me a call. All right, see you later.
Gosh dang it, that guy's has such a good voice.
It's smooth. I wanted to buy whatever
Smooth,
he
yep.
was selling.
Yep.
Whatever he was selling, I want it.
What would it be like to hear your voice back and to not think like I sound like an idiot?
Yeah, I don't
You
know
know
what
what I
that's like. I cringe every time I hear my voice on recordings.
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too.
That's not good.
To answer your question, which by the way, thank you for asking. But
Are
yeah,
you
the
trying
Adobe.
Are you trying to voice act right now, James?
He's being smooth. He's trying to be smooth. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
James.
Why'd you guys
James-
have to call that out? Just let it slide.
We couldn't
Hey.
because it sounds weird, man.
Yeah.
Hey, really quick while
It's like
you're
you're
on
No.
the
trying
line.
to be a
No.
jazz.
Dang it!
No.
He
Radio
could say
DJ.
anything and
He
sound
could.
cool.
I'm sorry,
butter.
He could-
James.
That's
I missed my dentist appointment. See, like I just sound stupid when I say that, but like if he was to say it, it would sound like he's a doctor. You know, I don't know. He might be, but like
he's
Yeah,
a voice
get-
actor.
get Adobe. The nice thing about Adobe in the Creative Cloud is the dynamic link and how each one of the programs intercommunicate with each other. So I know you do a lot of voice acting. Audition is a very, very powerful program, and especially when it ties into Premiere, I'm sure a lot of times when you go out and do jobs, it's great just to have context as to what they're talking about. And so in the future, they're going to probably be asked, well, I'm sure you already have, but doing like ADR for film and stuff, it's so much easier when people already know Audition.
Owen, stop
and
clicking, Owen. Okay, continue, James.
I forgot where I was because now I started to think about Owen clicking. I didn't take my Adderall today, Tony. What was I talking
Yeah,
about?
looking at
Anywho,
you,
it doesn't
Owen.
matter. Just don't use Final Cut. That's basically iMovie, and that's a baby's toy. Resolve is awesome as far as coloring. It's kind of the industry standard as far as coloring. But I've found, because I've been trying to implement Resolve into my workflow at work anyway, but they just don't communicate very well together, Premiere and Resolve, because Premiere is my primary editing software versus like After Effects is my like scalpel. If I need to go in and like content aware fill, like Photoshop or not like deepfake, but to take things out of a scene versus it's basically like Photoshop and Lightroom if you're familiar with those programs. But yeah, keep using. I don't know.
What is that noise?
It's something on Owen's side. It's clicking. It's a fan or something. I can hear it. It's just driving me nuts.
Mute me
I'm
for
not
a
talking
sec.
anymore.
See? Yeah, it's gone.
No, you got to mute me for a second.
Oh, he's gonna curse me out probably while he's muted. That dang Tony's such a jerk. Always being a jerk.
Anywho, go with Adobe.
Adobe's nice. My 2 cents is Adobe. Everything with Adobe is quite nice, but it is a lot more money since Resolve is free.
I don't want to advocate stealing, but if you know anybody that's a student, you can get a massive student discount if you just have a student ID or login. Just saying.
I do.
Though.
I'm a huge fan of Audition, though. I use it all the time for all of our podcasting and recording and editing and everything. So yeah, it's good stuff.
If you get the Creative Cloud, I mean, you can communicate to creatives like across the board. And the nice thing too is it sounds obviously like he is a very self-motivated person.
Yeah. So
once you get to know one program, it's nice to use YouTube University and just kind of hop on to a different program and I'm sinking back into that voiceover voice. I can't get his voice out of my head now. Gosh, dang it. It's such a good voice.
It's infectious.
I'm jealous of his voice.
You're so easily swayed, James.
Like I'm jealous of like attractive men for being attractive. I look like a Scooby snack that's been left in the sun.
More.
No, Scooby snacks aren't a real thing.
I'd say gummy worm.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You think?
Got to go something real.
I just bought eye cream for the first time in my life because I'm over 30 and I have these really dark bags under my eyes.
I heard Preparation H can help with that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put
that
butthole
skin.
stuff on my eyes. You
Shrinks
tricked me
that
too
skin.
many times, Jarron.
You're not
Fool
falling
me
for it this
once
time.
by putting it.
No, I heard
put
this
butt
from my
cream on
mother.
face.
Yeah, on the whole, Preparation H is very good.
So, yeah,
Wah, wah.
I got a package in the mail. It wasn't addressed to me. I tried to send it back. No company would take it back, so I opened it up like 5 months later, and it was Preparation H. And
Wait, you waited 5 months to open a mystery package?
yeah, I felt really bad about it.
I would have opened that immediately.
Yeah, right.
They got-
if
they have-
if I
they've
put
got
it around
insurance.
my eyes, it's probably going to make me grow butthole hair around my
Anyway.
eyes. And then you're going to be like, ha, 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 I tricked you.
It
No,
worked.
when
that's
my
weird.
when my mother found out about this Preparation H, she's like, "Oh, can I have it?" And I started laughing. She's like, "Oh no, it's good for your eyes." I'm like, "What? Like on your eyeballs?" No, underneath the eyeballs.
Jaron, have you done it?
No, not at all.
Don't need
Jared
to.
doesn't need any of that.
That being
I'm,
said,
there.
though,
I'm saving it for when I'm really desperate.
does the skin around your eye, is it like the same kind of skin that like is around your butthole?
No,
Probably,
just-
Hold on.
yeah.
Does this look like anything to you?
I think when God was making humans, he had leftover butthole skin, and he's like, I'm going to put this around the
Right
eye.
here.
This is perfect.
right around the soft bits, They wrap all the soft bits are wrapped in butthole skin. Maybe your butthole is wrapped with eye skin. Why we gotta be like that?
Oh, that's
Maybe
good. Maybe
yeah.
it's the other way around. You're
Yeah,
right.
maybe it's the other way around.
Eye
That's
skin
tomato,
is like from
tomato.
heaven.
There you go.
Well, thanks for calling in with that question, Stephen. We got way off track.
I love how we
but
started
it was
with
good.
like the Adobe Creative Cloud and we ended on like
Preparation H.
butthole skin.
All roads lead to that. So
Yeah,
come
seriously.
All roads lead to the butts holes.
Buttholes? You ever?
This is why
the
people
butts.
come to
This
this
is
show.
quality content right here. High quality. Right about as high as the butthole.
I'll tell you what,
Buttholes.
Biobidet is getting so much from us. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
are they,
in terms of
though?
like
I don't know.
sales and then how much we talk about them on the show.
Yeah.
Use
Like they
code
could-
Gadget Spot to get 10% off.
Boom.
Speaking of which, do we have that other sponsor?
Not yet.
Of the show?
I gotta work on that one. I've been slacking in this quarantine time, but anyway, let's roll into a couple of emails.
Yeah, we got one from Aaron Faulkner. He says, "Hey guys, I'm following up on the advice you gave me about truly wireless headphones. I decided to go with the AirPod Pros, and overall I am happy with the purchase. The headphones are compact enough to take wherever. That's really the reason I like them the most, because the case is so small and so pocketable. Anyway, the sound and call quality is very good. The long-term in-ear comfort and stability is not as good as the Bose Quiet Comfort 30s. I think that's kind of comparing apples to oranges, though, because Quiet Comfort 30s are over-ears, whereas AirPod
Yeah.
Pros are in-ears. And yeah,
Tomato,
but-
tomato.
That's a good point. But I think this is an ear-shaped problem. On another note, I am looking to upgrade my monitors for my computer and gaming. Currently, did you have something to say, Owen?
Oh,
Right,
don't let him
right
talk.
there, bottom. Right there at the bottom. Hey, tell me what you know about aptX.
Oh, aptX.
Audio.
aptX?
It's just
Yeah.
high definition audio.
Yeah.
Something that iOS does not support, Mac OS does, Android does, Windows does.
So yeah, except for the Jobber 75T actives do not. So I spent
They
not an inconsiderable.
don't?
No, they do not, and I spent not an inconsiderable amount of time last night trying to figure out why my YouTube video was lagging, because that's the problem when you use the AAC codec or the other ones, is that you get Bluetooth lag with audio and video. So the audio comes through fine, the video comes through fine.
AAC doesn't lag on iOS. Just
it was-
saying.
I
Because
was like,
Apple made AAC.
well, my phone has aptX HD and adaptive, and it had like the OnePlus.
Is this the
But-
whole ARS Technica all over again?
What aptics?
No, he's,
do I have
he's
to say
okay
aptics?
so far.
Yeah, do I have to
You-
say aptics?
It's not
Yes.
as bad as ARS Technica, but
Hey,
I was going to let it
now,
slide.
It's still too soon. It's still too soon.
ROG?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ROG.
I still think it's ROG.
No, it's ROG.
I just want to know what you watch on YouTube.
Anyway, I was watching some music videos.
Furry stuff?
They were at it. Well,
He's into furries.
the music
Oh.
was in the background, but
I thought you said free at first, and I was like, well, all of YouTube's free. Oh no, he said furry. Yeah.
anyway, I didn't know that the jobbers didn't have that, and I was quite disappointed when I found out, because the 75T actives are like supposed to be next gen, but
I am very surprised that they don't have that.
so anyway,
Does anyone here actually notice the difference in quality, though? I personally do not.
no, mine is the audio quality,
for the
no,
lag. Yeah,
but just for the lag, just for
Yeah.
the video lag. So
That's disappointing.
yeah. Anyway, carry on.
He says, on another note, I am looking to upgrade my monitors for my computer and gaming. Currently, I have a dual monitor setup that I can switch one of the monitors between my PC or my Xbox. Most of my gaming is on my Xbox. I think I would like to switch over to a single extra wide monitor that is going to be ready for the next gen Xbox. I'm looking for the mid to high end models as far as price goes. Thanks for your help and keep up the great work. I look forward to the new episode every week. Does next gen support ultra wide?
Oh, I have been looking into this for months. So let me tell you,
And
But
I
does
don't think it does.
Oh no, it does not.
To my knowledge, it does not. But they could change that with, a software update. It's not
Could
It's not
being
that
the
big.
operative
Right
word there.
I was going to recommend not getting an ultra wide monitor unless you're okay with much of your content having big black bars on the side. What I would really recommend is, especially if you're already talking about mid, high, and high end, is a super nice 4K. You have a couple options out there. They're all around. The ones I'm thinking of are all around $1,500 or more. There is the glorious LG 48-inch CX or C10, I think is what they actually want you to call it. Television that will have HDMI 2.1. It will be 4K, 120 hertz, G-Sync, HDR.
This is that one TV to rule them all, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mhm,
But
yeah.
you will have to get a video card that has HDMI 2.1 to take advantage of it as well. So there is that, but all of your next-gen consoles will have HDMI 2.1 and will automatically take advantage of that. The
A
other
cheaper. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the other really good option is slightly more expensive at about $1,700. It's a model from Asus. It is a 43-inch 4K monitor with 144 hertz 4K HDR 1000 and G-Sync, and they have this compression technique for the display link called DSC that allows you to run all the bells and whistles over one G-Sync or a D-Link display link 1.4 cable, which is the standard, and have all those goodies on a 43-inch 4K monitor.
But do next gen consoles support DisplayPort 1.4? I don't think they
No,
do.
so that's the downside of that is it only has HDMI 2.0B. It doesn't have HDMI 2.1 on it, so
are
Yeah,
they going to
so
be doing
we're
anything
kind
with the
of-
new HDMI ports? Are they going to be coloring them like they did like USB-C?
no,
so
they
you know
just
which
leave,
one?
they just leave them the same. It's really kind of frustrating. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now because that OLED is really the only game in town if you want the ultimate experience for about $1,500.
How much are those?
$1,500.
You just said that. I meant to ask that. That question was just
still 1,500.
There's lag in my audio, obviously. That's why I asked that immediately after you said that. There's no other. There's really
How much
no
are they
other
going to be, though?
reason.
Well, see, they're going to be about $1,500.
Okay. 1,500. Thanks, James.
But yeah, there really is
I
no
didn't
other
want to
game in
make you feel
town.
stupid.
There's really no other game in town if you want something that's going to be able to sit on your desk. You could always, if you want to go for more couch play with a PC, you could hook your PC up to something like a 55-inch OLED, or the new Vizio stuff has HDMI 2.1 with all the bells and whistles that they just announced. We talked about it on the last show. But yeah, what were you going to say though, Jarron? Do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, so yeah, Tony's right. So you can either buy now HDMI 2.1 for next gen console support, but then you're kind of screwed on your computer because you have to upgrade to a new GPU that's not even out yet. Or you can support your current GPU and get kind of screwed for the next gen consoles.
Yeah.
A good cheaper 4K monitor, it's around $800. It's the Acer XV273K. It's 4K, 144 hertz. They claim to have HDR, but don't really count on it because it's not very good HDR. But other than that, it's a great monitor. DisplayPort 1.4, but it doesn't do HDMI 2.1, as we said before. So compromises abound.
Yeah, we're at a really unfortunate time in TV and monitor technology history right now, because there's so many different options as far as connectivity goes, and all with the same two ports, that you run into this issue. Trying to find the 43-inch that I was telling you about. But yeah, as far as your ultra wide though, I don't recommend going ultra wide if you're going to put a console on it. You'll end up with black bars on the side and also the weird native resolution of the ultra wide monitors are usually like 3440 by 1400 by 1440, or I've seen one that was 3860 by 1600. Just really odd resolutions that the consoles I don't believe are currently slated to support. It is the Asus ROG Asus ROG Swift PG43UQ. That's the 43-inch one that has all the bells and whistles. So
We like you.
I like
Yeah.
that one.
We got one more email from Lang. What is your dream weapon you could pull from a game and have in real life? I call dibs on Reinhardt's hammer from Overwatch.
Dang it.
I call dibs on the axe in God of War.
Oh, the Leviathan axe is so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
I
gold-
kind of like
gold-
like God of War, the two freaking sickles that he had before.
Yeah, his knives or whatever with the chains on them.
Mine's going to be the golden gun.
One shot kills.
That's right.
But you have to load it one bullet at a time, so
That's
you better
okay.
make that shot count.
It's okay.
You know what? Screw it. I want an X-wing. That's a weapon. It has weapons. I would use it as a weapon.
That's a ship. It has weapons. I don't think that flies. And
Oh, a lightsaber. Done.
Besides, that's the movie universe that made into the games.
Oh,
do
does
that.
that not count?
No, I think we're going to stick to only game stuff. I think Jarron took the best one.
I don't know. I kind of like Link's hook shot. I think that's pretty rad.
That's not a weapon.
A grappling hook?
You could like
So
sometimes
Okay,
versatile.
first off,
enemies
you don't
with
have
it.
to say it like that. Okay, you can make anything sound bad if you say it like that.
A lightsaber? Nah, it doesn't work on lightsaber.
All right, fine. You know what? A gun from Call of Duty. There, that fit all of the criteria.
M14A.
It's not a
Call
book.
of Duty. I'm trying to think. What would I?
I got a question for you guys once we answer this question in the same vein.
I honestly
saying.
can't think of anything besides the Leviathan axe. Now that you've said that, Jarron, I'm going to go with the same answer. Leviathan axe. Yep, final answer.
Or the gun that Nathan Drake touched. Could be any.
Could be
anything.
any gun.
Any
Yeah.
gun.
would you settle for something that Nolan North has touched?
Is he dressed like Nathan Drake?
I mean, sure.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I
I'm
bet
in.
when conventions start up, if you take a gun and run toward him with it, saying, "Here, touch this," he'll probably touch it for you and
Yeah.
be fine with it.
I mean, a lot of other people will probably touch you after that.
As long as I don't get swarmed by security.
Oh,
on
you
the
will
way
get
there.
swarmed for sure.
Oh, especially with Nolan North. I got a video game related question for you guys.
Is that
Is there
it
been a-
for emails?
Oh,
Yep.
All right. Thanks for writing in, folks. All right, James's video game related question. Is this on the show notes?
No. Hey, has there been a video game franchise that you
gonna
guys have
mute
slept
him.
on? And like have been meaning to play at some point in time, but it seems like it's a popular game, but you just don't really care to get into it too much.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed.
That's mine too. I almost
That's a
did
solid
Assassin's
game.
Creed.
I would have said that one until I started playing Odyssey, and Odyssey is the bomb diggity. For me, it's probably the Final Fantasy games.
I've heard a lot of good things about
I've never played
15.
any of them more than halfway through, and that's only one, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, as a 13-year-old, I started playing Final Fantasy X-2 for obvious reasons. But no, for me it was Ratchet and Clank. I was hearing like about the Sony release and how they were talking about Ratchet and Clank and how awesome that game looks. And I just realized like I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game, nor do I really care to.
I played the remaster on PS4. It's a pretty good game.
Have you
Enjoyable.
got? Oh, yeah. I was about to ask if you guys have played the new Final Fantasy game, 7 Remastered.
Actually, I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
When did
It's
you
on
get
your
that?
list, too.
Way good.
Well, a couple months ago,
Doesn't seem like something you'd buy.
Well, I had a friend who wanted to play it really bad, but he got rid of his PS4 a long time ago, and so he said, "Hey, can I borrow your PS4 and play this game? And if you want to, I'll sell you the game for half off after I'm done with it."
What? More like give me the game.
I wasn't using my PS4 at the time, so.
Oh.
Normally
I don't agree with Jarron, but I think yeah, you should have just said, okay, that's the price of borrowing, buddy.
I was going to get the game anyway at some point because I decided this is going to be the Final Fantasy game that I try out. So
It's a solid one.
Yeah.
that's what I've heard. I might as well keep talking about games. I can give a 90% review of The Last of Us 2.
Ooh, you're already 90% of the way through?
I think I'm more than 90% of the way through. That game has more endings than Return of the King.
How many hours have you put into it?
About 25.
Wow.
It's
Wow,
a
that's
long
lot
game.
shorter than I thought.
No, dude. 25 hours on a non-open world game is long.
I don't know, man.
Indeed.
That Final Fantasy VII remake is 40 hours, and it's only the first. What did they say? Like quarter of the
first
game or
disc?
something like that.
Yeah. Well, the Final Fantasy games are kind of outliers. Back then, all the JRPGs were super duper long, and they still are for the most part. Usually like 40-hour.
So are you gonna go spoilery with this, or are you gonna keep it non-spoilery?
I'm gonna go non-spoilery because the game's only been out like 2 weeks. Let me tell you, I can see why I can see why dum-dums are so mad at this game and mad at what happens in it. Okay, not dum-dums. That was rude. People can have their opinion, but
No, there-
As long,
there
as,
are
long as they're
people-
not being jerks about it.
yeah,
I
as long
read
as they're
that-
not being
yeah.
jerks about it, as I agree 100%. But the story, I understand why some people are upset about the story, but there are aspects of it where you get those stupid incel neckbeards that are just like, well, it does this because it's an SJW game, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, it does have those things, and they're there because the people that wrote the story wanted to put them in. If you want a different story, go write your own story. You know? I mean, just because it doesn't conform to what you think it
Then
should doesn't mean it's bad.
Play it.
Yeah, don't play it.
Well-
Simple as that.
Seriously.
Well, I read the spoilers on the video game, and it's like, yeah, if you're looking at it at surface level, it gives the incel something to complain about. It's like female protagonist, she's gay. I mean, that comes out like that's in the first like 2 minutes.
That's in the
of it,
first,
right?
yeah, the first like half an hour you find all that. Oh no, first
But-
like 5 minutes. You find
But
out
that
about
being said, I understand to a point, like why they would be mad about certain things in the story. But that being said, it's good storytelling.
That's
There have to
fantastic.
be stakes in a story. You know, I mean,
It's
Is this the second iteration of this game? Like the sequel?
part 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. Like, you know, I was pretty ticked off when they messed up Halo 5. Like, I was like,
oh, it's not
You
like
know.
that though.
No, it's
Halo
totally
5 was
different.
just a bad game.
Yeah, Halo 5 was bad because it didn't focus on Master Chief and his story.
right, the story was kind of
and-
missing.
It
And-
would have been like if
and-
they would have called Halo ODST 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah,
Halo
and-
2.5.
And the thing is, with The Last of Us 2, it was the logical next step of telling the story is you play as Ellie the whole time, because you got to play as Ellie a little bit in Last of Us 1.
And in the
when-
DLC as well.
When Joel was hurt, and then in the DLC. And so the obvious next step is this game's all about Ellie and things that happened to her.
They didn't like that.
And they didn't like that. And then there's
But-
other
but the
things that I
point
can't.
of the
There's other things I
story-
can't get into that I know are reasons why they didn't like it, because they're spoilers.
Just
Um, But it's just like, come on.
I want to talk. I want
does-
to talk
does
about it
that-
so bad with you.
Every
so bad.
story doesn't have to be about what you want it to be about, you know. And just like Owen said, if you don't like it, move along. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, write fan fiction and
Yeah,
pretend
yeah.
that
Make it
that's your
different.
version of the story.
It's simple.
And to that, good luck.
So yeah,
Writing stories is a lot harder than a lot of people think.
it's a lot of work.
I liked it in third grade.
Yeah, but back then
it
the
was
bar
less
was
work
so
in third
low.
grade because your vocabulary was much smaller. You didn't have as many
Also-
words to choose from.
Nobody criticized you back then.
That's true as well.
No, that's not true.
All right,
No.
you were really, really short. I forget.
Poor
Yeah.
Jarron. Now, as far as gameplay goes, if you liked gameplay from the first Last of Us, this is
First
bigger,
last.
better.
It's the same
fantastic-
vein as
fantastic
like
gameplay, if you ask me.
I get a pass on this game. I might get to buy it and play it. And by get to, I mean this isn't usually a game I would kind of get
Do you have-
behind.
Do you have a PS4?
No, but my wife. Somebody told my wife that she kind of looks like Ellie, and so she's like, "Well, maybe we can play it." I'm like, "Well, we don't have a PS4." She's like, "Well, how much are they?" And I'm like, "What now?"
What now?
I mean, might as well just get the next gen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just wait
Yeah,
till
future
the next
proof.
gen
So-
comes out.
No, you have to tell her it's on the PS5.
That's
There you go.
I did not say. Yeah, I didn't say anything. So
But if the gameplay is similar to the first one, it's like Uncharted. It's
Yeah.
like you're not really playing a game; you're playing a movie.
Yeah,
A
and
scary Uncharted. That's what makes it different.
there's a lot of cutscenes, but they're all so good that it doesn't even. If it bothers you, it's because you don't like cutscenes.
After
But-
reading the spoilers, I would be devastated about the people reading spoilers if I came up with that story.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like many Naughty Dog games, the twists and turns of the story or what the story hinges on. You know,
Is there
right.
multiple endings, like as far as like good
I-
ending, bad ending, as far as you know?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any choices you can make. At least I haven't come across a single choice you can make in the game that would change the outcomes.
So Jarron
So-
can sacrifice everybody on his team
is it a sneaky
Yeah.
game?
Yeah, it's a sneaky game.
Okay.
and not have a
Um,
bad ending.
Yeah,
Ouch.
Jarron could totally not get the guitar, not get the teddy bear, and he still
Mm.
get the same ending. So
The
got
world
the
has
teddy bear.
ended. Why does the little child need a teddy bear?
I don't
Come
know,
on.
Did
they
you know
need
where
a
to
teddy
find
bear
that thing?
more than ever.
It's
That thing somehow got at the top of some huge tower
I know,
water
right?
tank thing, and you're like, what monster was like, ooh, a teddy bear, I better take this,
take
snatch it
this.
up from my nest.
This is
And
nice.
that's why I didn't find it.
Jarron-
I'm
Yep.
afraid of heights.
Did you not learn anything from Frozen 2? What did Olaf say? Controlling what you can when things feel out of control.
Oh, Frozen 2 is lame.
I never saw that one.
Moana's the better movie. Come on.
That tomato.
Back to The Last of Us 2.
Moana
I,
is the better movie. But
I feel like
Yeah.
I've played it far enough along that I can give it a solid rating, not have to think that I might change it in the last probably hour and a half of gameplay that I have. I give it a 10 out of 10. It is.
Whoa,
it's
still
a
one of your favorite games?
It's a straight masterpiece. I don't think I'll ever play it again after beating it because I get the same feelings while I play it that I got while I read Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and it is depressing, but it's really, really good. The
It
gameplay
looks good.
is,
It looks really good.
yeah, the gameplay is just a more refined, better version of The Last of Us 1 gameplay. The visuals, I can't believe what they were able to do with the PS4 and a PS4 Pro. It looks amazing. I would put it up there with any game on any system, Xbox, PC, whatever. I would put it up there with all of them and say it's in the top 5% of graphics. Sound is amazing. If you have a headset or a surround sound system, you're gonna love it.
You can be scared from all directions.
Oh man, there's some scenes. They introduced a couple of new infected, and I didn't ever really get scared in the first one. This second one scared me with some of the new infected.
cauliflower head things never scared you?
No,
Those
I
things-
hate those ones.
They creeped me out, but they didn't scare me.
Oh yeah, I could see
They
that.
have these new bad guys that you find about a third of the way, and they're called stalkers. And they're imagine if you took a cauliflower head guy and then merged it with the girl from The Ring.
Oh,
Nope.
so did you ever
Nope,
play
nope,
Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, it's and so you have these creepy, silent, running
dream
around
about
on
that.
all fours.
I'm gonna be dreaming about that. You gotta stop.
Hiding behind things, and you have your listen mode, from the first one. You have that back in the second one, so you can listen closer and like visualize where things are in the next room over from the sounds that it makes and whatnot. Well, these ones don't make any sound unless they're coming at you full blast, and so you can't track them.
Well, that settles it. I am never going to play that game.
And yeah,
That's funny.
and then there's another new one that I won't say in case because that one wasn't too spoilery, but there's another new one that you meet along the way you just got to meet it without knowing what it is. It's fantastic. But yeah, 10 out of 10. If you have any passing interest in playing this game and you're not afraid of a strong female protagonist,
And what if you're afraid of the zombies?
LGBTQ, stuff like that, as long as you're not homophobic or whatever, play the game.
I don't like things like me.
And you'll love it. It's fantastic. It is super depressing though. I mean,
You don't like snakes,
95%.
James.
Hey, there's no snakes in this game. You're clear.
That's something that's not like you.
That sounds like something that you would trick me into looking at.
All right.
See how much
Oh,
you've
wait,
damaged
I guess-
me, Jarron? This is my life now.
I gotta readjust my score to our actual scoring that we use. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
So 5
What's
out of
the
5.
next new
with
game we're
negative
going to
5
be
to
reviewing?
5.
Is it going to be Paper Mario with me?
Yeah, this month is Paper Mario and Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to play Ghost of Tsushima this month.
Dude,
Tsushima.
that game looks intense.
That's why I said Tsushima.
Tsushima.
Tsushima?
Tsushima.
Tsushima.
I don't know how to say it.
Sushi. I'm so hungry.
It does look like a really cool
Oh,
game.
sushi sounds so good.
So I'm tentatively excited to play it. I have a passing interest in the stealth aspect of that game from what I can see, but I'm not really a sword and sword fight melee game kind of person unless there's a sci-fi aspect of it or like magic powers, and it looks like there's neither of those in this one. So
Yeah,
but
I don't know,
I'm gonna
man.
play it.
Go into it pretty wary, because For Honor burned me.
Oh yeah, I played the beta for that game and I was like, this is not for me.
They should not have. That game should not have had a beta. That game is like the kind of game that's like the movie that doesn't view for critics. It's not
I will
great.
agree. Okay. Also, in the gaming world, it's possible that we might be seeing $70 as the new norm for AAA games going into the next generation.
Games
Yeah.
have been $60 since the 80s. I think it's about time.
In the 80s and the 90s, games ranged anywhere from 40 to 100, depending on the cartridge. And then I think it was 2003 with Modern Warfare, Activision started charging $60 for a AAA game, and it has been $60 ever since then.
Well, they found that was kind of the tipping point, right? Like
Yep.
anything over that, consumers and parents are like, I don't know. But that was kind of right at the top of what people would spend regularly.
Yep.
It kind of became the gold standard.
And
But
so,
yeah, microtransactions are now the thing to put you over the
well,
top.
see, that's the thing. That's why Battlefront 2 got hosed so bad, is because you paid $60, and then there was a bunch of microtransactions for pay-to-win stuff. And so here's the thing: is games might be going to $70, which is a bummer, but there's so many more options today for free to play games and other stuff like that it kind of makes it up on the other side, if you ask me. But I'm not going to be happy about spending $70 for a game, but if it's a game I'm really looking forward to, I'll do it.
And the secondary market's pretty healthy.
Exactly. Secondary market's pretty healthy, and sales run all the time.
Right. And you can buy a game, and then now you can sell that game, right? Even if you bought it digitally, like on Microsoft, can you sell those games?
No.
Oh, I thought that you can buy them as gifts now. That was their thing.
Yeah.
You could gift a game to somebody digitally.
Yep. It's a really interesting article that I linked to here from the Washington Post. It goes through kind of the history of the prices of games, and yeah, it's been on $60 for 17 years now, and it's $60 not accounting for inflation either. So when you think about it that way,
means means that they were making tons of money, and now they're making less money.
Yeah, and it's all a game of numbers. How many people does it take to make your game? How many man hours does it take to make your game? It changes how long it will take for your game to break even and start making money. So for indie titles, it's lower, but for the big AAA games, you're talking about multi studios per game, hundreds of people per studio. I saw an article about the Assassin's Creed Valhalla game, and it was the one that's coming out later this year, and it was like, I think 6 studios working on that game right now.
Yeah, but I think the consoles offset some of that cost, especially if it's an exclusive.
Well, if it's an exclusive, yeah, but if it's third party and on every platform like Assassin's Creed games are, there's no extra money in that. It's just straight.
No, I think that's
sell.
well, I think that's the thing. Like, in order to get it third party, if they're like, yeah, well, Sony's paying us, so it's going to be exclusive. The Microsoft comes in and says, well, hold on now. We want it for Xbox too, so I can't decide.
I don't think that happens.
You don't think it goes that way? You think it's the other way around, where they build the game for multiple platforms instead of having the platforms come to them?
From the outset, I think the only time you see a third party,
because games sell consoles. That's what does it. So I would So I would think that consoles would have a skin in the game and come to the studios and say, "Hey, if you're making this game, make it for us too."
That's why they have first party studios. Studios like Insomniac and Naughty Dog and other ones that Sony owns, and then Microsoft.
343.
Microsoft owns 343 and the Coalition that does the Gears of War games.
Right.
Those are the ones that they fund the development of the games for, because they're going to be exclusive to their platform. But all your games that come out on all the systems, no, that's just straight. They said, okay, we're targeting these 3 systems, and we got to make it work on all of them with our own money.
I just would think that the consoles would have, like, the console players would have something in that to say, the money in microtransactions alone make it worth gamer developers to do that, to push it out to all consoles. But I would be surprised if the consoles didn't have some sort of some sort of sublet in there where they're helping to fund it a little bit in part.
The closest you'll get to that, and it doesn't really happen as much anymore, but back with when PS4 launched, they had an exclusive deal with Activision for Call of Duty, which got Call of Duty. All the Call of Duty content was after the release of the game was exclusive to PS4 for 30 days at first, and I think that's pretty much gone. I don't think they re-upped that
There's still some timed exclusives though.
In Call of Duty?
No, just in general.
Like what?
I will look it up right now. But when a studio will release it on one console and like a year later, that happened to Tomb Raider.
Didn't it happen with
on
Destiny
the Xbox.
2?
That's true. Once in a while, you will get an occasional timed exclusive. The only thing I can think of that has regular timed exclusive is the Epic Game Store. Oh, and they're doing exactly what you're talking about right there. They'll come to a studio and be like, "Hey, if you make this exclusive on our Epic Game Store for 6 months, here's a little pile of money to keep your development going."
Right.
And yeah, they've been doing that a lot, and that's why so many people are pissed off at Epic Games. But you know what? Forget that. They give us free games all the time.
Right.
And how hard is it to download and install another launcher? Whoopity-doo.
Right.
You know?
So
Did you see
Assassin's
that,
Creed Valhalla, they have however many studios working on it. But do we need games that big to demand such a high
another
price?
question. That's another question, you know. Is the quality jump from a smaller team to a bigger team worth the amount of money and people and man hours that it takes to do that? I would say rarely, if you ask me.
If Assassin's Creed Odyssey were a fifth the length, I would totally play it, and I wouldn't mind the same price, personally.
Well, yeah, you're talking about a game, though, that's incredibly massive, though. That one's the exception.
Well, I'm assuming Valhalla will probably be just as big as Odyssey.
They said Valhalla will be smaller in scope than Odyssey,
Well, thank goodness for that.
right? But yeah, it's interesting to see how that comes. There's a newish type of game development that's become semi-popular in the last 4 years or so, and they're called AA titles. Have you heard about
I thought you were
that?
going to say Battle Royale. But
It's called Battle Royale. Have you ever heard of it? AA titles, which would be things like,
Spider-Man Miles Morales?
that would
I heard
be
that was more like
would
a
be
DLC,
AA,
isn't it?
That would be a AA title because it doesn't target the same hugeness of the Spider-Man game on PS4, or like Shadow Warrior and Shadow Warrior 2. Those are AA titles. Studios that are small enough to not be considered huge, but big enough to be bigger than indie studios. And they end up making games that maybe don't have quite the polish of a AAA or the length, but they're still really good.
A good story, right?
Yeah, good story, good gameplay that's good enough at the very least, if not very good. And
Probably Hellblade as well.
yes, Hellblade is a perfect example of a AA game. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That's like one of the poster childs of a AA. I would say Control is borderline a AA title.
What?
I still got to dive back into that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
that game is so good.
I could be wrong with that one, but it strikes me as a little bit more of a AA title. But because I don't think Remedy's that huge of a studio.
Yeah, this drive to go AAA to bring more studios, everything bigger, better, like more intense. I wonder what the cap is, what the roof is on that, like the ceiling for how big it can get.
Yeah, it's the same thing in the movie industry. When you have movies costing $250 million, then you still have to throw on top of that cost of advertisement for it and everything like that. These movies have to make $800 million,
Just to
$900
get
million.
just to break even, right?
Yeah, just to make it enough money to say, yeah, we'd be interested in doing a sequel if it's not a
Right.
$1 billion franchise.
Solo being the perfect example of that.
Perfect example.
It did all right, but since it was so expensive, it didn't do all right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if that movie had posted that kind of revenue like 15 years ago, it would have been an unmitigated success.
Right.
It'd have been like, look at how much money we made. I mean, go back and look at the numbers. Jurassic Park, when it came out in the 90s, I think it had like a $60 million opening weekend or something like that, and it was considered the just crazy, bonkers, huge.
60 mil was considered a huge success.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
weird.
Are you looking that up, Jarron?
Huh? No.
Oh.
Nope.
I'm really curious about that now, but anyway, yeah. This I don't know. I like big expensive games, but
47 million.
47 million its opening weekend, and it was just
Holy moly.
massive. I think over the whole run of the movie, it only pulled in like 400 million, I think.
912 million.
Well, Oh, worldwide. Yeah.
Worldwide, yeah.
I'm thinking of domestic. Domestic, it was 357 million.
Yeah, but
crazy.
that doesn't measure the cultural.
What do we expect for
Impact.
like what did we get on Endgame for opening weekend?
I think it broke $1 billion on opening
Yeah.
weekend.
Opening
Yeah.
weekend
We got a
broke
new
$1 billion.
state.
It's crazy.
We have 51 states now.
So, anyway, I kind of went off in the weeds on that, but let's see. Also, gaming related, real quick, check out the link to the new Battle Royale from Ubisoft. It's called Hyperspace.
Yay.
Looks kind of cool. It's all science fiction-y with some unique twists on the Battle Royale genre.
Do you think they put
if
that
you-
out right
if
before?
you-
Sorry.
I was going to say, if you check that link out, you can get it on a tech demo, I believe, or a beta test, excuse me, on the 12th, next weekend.
How
What,
many
James?
Battle Royale games will there be until people just don't care anymore?
Battle royales are the new microtransactions.
Mhm.
They exist until they stop existing.
Yeah, I think
Smooth,
that's
James.
pretty much it. They're going to be. I think you're going to have a couple of mainstays that stay around for a long time. Fortnite being one of them. I really hope Warzone is one of them because if, for my money, that's the best battle royale game that's been made so far.
It's number 5 in the world right now as far as video games being played.
Yeah,
Just a heads up.
Apex Legends is really fun. The thing is you have to have something to stand out. You know, it can't be just a PUBG clone or a Modern Warfare clone or something like that. And I guess Hyperspace is trying to do that and have things about it that stand out. So give it a shot. Check it out. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of things failing and in this case maybe quickly dying, how about that Quibi, Jarron?
Before we start this, do you guys know what Quibi is? Or Quibi?
Quibi,
Quibi?
that's how you say it, yeah.
Quibi.
I did
I-
not
I
I did
do.
not
No.
until you and I heard of
Well-
it.
What does it sound like it is?
Quid, which is money in England.
It's a nonsense name, so I thought it was
No,
like
it's actually not, but they pronounce it incorrectly, so you can't get
Kiwi?
the words. It
Kiwi?
should be
Kubi?
it should be Quibi. If it was going to actually
Yeah,
make
that's
more
true.
sense, because it's short for quick bite.
Boo.
So Quibi is a brand new streaming service.
it's like a food service.
yeah,
quick bite.
sure. Yeah, exactly. That was launched by Meg Whitman, who was the CEO of eBay for a while, and then HP, who, in my mind, I don't think she did a very good job at HP. She kind of destroyed HP, in fact. But as soon as she quit HP,
Not a very good job, aka destroyed.
Jeffrey Katzenberg, who is a media executive, he worked at Disney and was part of the Disney Renaissance in the 90s and then formed DreamWorks a bit later and then sold that off to Comcast. Anyway, he had this vision. He thinks he knows millennials, and he thinks that millennials will watch very expensive content on your phone. And yeah.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. I get advertisements on Twitter for this
Yep.
all the time.
It's garbage.
All the time. It's vertical videos.
Yeah, so you can turn
Yeah.
your phone landscape, you can turn it portrait, and the video will. Basically, they filmed in a square, so whatever orientation you have it, you can see the main action. But they didn't launch a Apple TV app or Android TV or Roku or anything like that. It's purely on the screen.
They want you to use your phone, your actual phone screen, to watch these.
Yeah, so they have
And they're-
TV
and they're
shows that last
short.
about 10 minutes long. They
Yeah.
have movies, which are divided up into chapters of 10 minutes each. And so the idea is on your way to work, you watch this, you have fun, whatever. But the problem is they launched it during the middle of the pandemic. And actually,
When
I don't
everybody
think that
has loads of time.
I don't think that was a
Nobody's-
problem. I think that might have worked in their benefit.
Nah, man,
I-
because
In the
because
same way that
nobody's-
Tiger Man, whatever.
Nobody's commuting, so they're not watching
Right.
content on their phone.
Nobody's
They're
rushed.
sitting down.
They have more than 10 minutes to watch
Yeah,
the show.
they're sitting down on their couch or in front of
Oh,
their
I don't think
computer to watch something.
I don't think that has a factor in it. I think it's just a bad idea.
Yeah, and I think that's the general consensus now. When the app launched, it only reached like number 2 popularity the day it came out. Now it's like to number 265 or whatever
Oh my gosh.
in the App Store. and they've spent billions of dollars bringing in talent and stuff like this.
They bought
But-
so much original
I love your
content.
bullet points here on the notes, by the way. These are epic.
Yeah, so I've highlighted some things which I think is the downfall of Quibi. Quibi, whatever.
Call it
So-
Quibi.
This is a very long article, extremely long. I read the whole thing just because it was kind of fun. And
Train
here we
wreck
go.
You can't turn away.
Yeah, exactly. So bullet point number 1. It was just clear that if we didn't have a celebrity attached, they weren't interested.
Truth.
Meaning the executives of Quibi, they weren't interested in funding anything unless it had a celebrity.
They
And
need name power.
when has a celebrity after the 90s really been a measure of a good show, right? I mean, do we really care about celebrities today?
I'll tell you what, I stopped watching 2.5 Men after Charlie Sheen left.
Was it because of Charlie Sheen or just the content
Oh,
wasn't
that was,
good?
that was a
So-
joke. I never
so-
watched 2.5 Men. It was it was
I
terrible.
was really wondering.
One of my favorite jokes. One of my favorite jokes in that avenue is from Zombieland when Bill Murray gets shot, and they go, "Do you have any regrets?" And he goes, "Garfield, maybe,"
yeah.
because he thought the Coen brothers got him to come on for that, and it was the wrong Coen brothers, and he didn't know. So,
You know what's so funny about that too is, did you watch the second Zombieland?
yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you watch through the credits?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything else. You
Dude.
need
I
to
gotta
go
go-
watch
I got-
through the credits of
Okay.
Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
Gotta go see that. Anyway,
Continue,
but I
Jan.
just star power is not always the
Nobody
best.
cares.
I-
Nobody cares
indicator.
about it these days.
Yeah.
as
Yeah, I
much.
mean, look at The Expanse. No stars in that show. Mm-hmm. Popular. Game of Thrones. Were there any huge stars attached to that when
That-
it first started?
that show made stars. It
Exactly.
didn't have
Yeah.
any. The closest it had was Sean Bean.
Yeah.
And Sean
And
Bean
that-
was fairly popular.
And that's the new golden standard is that if you get a show that makes stars, if you're minting television
Yes.
stars, then you are making money.
And look
That's
at the Marvel universe. I mean, yes, they're big stars now, but Chris Hemsworth, he wasn't a big star when
The only thing
he
that I
became
remember
Thor.
Chris Hemsworth in before was the first Star Trek movie,
Yeah.
the J.J. Abrams one, where he plays
played,
Kirk's dad.
Right, yeah.
But like he was in it for like 2 minutes.
He's still great though. Love that movie.
All right,
And
bullet point-
Elizabeth, yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
Elizabeth who?
I was gonna say Elizabeth Olsen. I don't know what she was in before she was Scarlet Witch.
Nah, she
I
was
mean-
in a bunch of stuff.
Was she?
Yeah.
Bullet point number 2. Plenty of streaming companies have seen the stay-at-home orders as a boon. Instagram Live is surging,
yeah.
and mobile phone use is up, with shocked iPhone users posting screen time reports graphing dramatic spikes. So, usage has gone up. Quibi, they
Still
don't
the
really
same.
have...
Still
they
flatline.
Yeah, they don't have an
Yeah.
excuse, even though they're blaming the coronavirus.
That's what I was going to say. What does that tell you about the product?
And then bullet point number 3, T-Mobile, Quibi's most important launch partner, could hardly flex its marketing muscle when most stores were closed.
Oh, come on. You think a poster in a store is going to get someone to download your app and use
Who's going to the T-Mobile store
They're being like,
to
let's
look for
go."
marketing?
Yeah, they're like, that looks like. Let's order some lunch.
Boosters are static media. You can't turn them off.
All right. Bullet point number 4. One media investor suggested the quality of Quibi's lineup reflected an adverse selection bias. In other words, Quibi is getting A talent's B material,
Oh, this is totally true.
or else producers' desk drawer scripts, which haven't been able to attract a more established buyer. If we have a show that's going to be a huge hit, you pitch it to Netflix, HBO, says the producer. If it doesn't get traction, you pitch it to Quibi. Indeed, many of the shows Quibi picked up had been widely shopped elsewhere beforehand.
Yeah, of course. Like Netflix and HBO, they're making it rain. Like they're making dollars.
Even Amazon Prime.
Even Amazon Prime.
You know, they have a hat in that
Yep.
ring, and
Yeah.
they're
They've
doing
got
well.
some good originals on there too.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
All right, last one. In market research following its Oscars and Super Bowl ads, by the way, Oscars is the main audience is like 55-year-olds.
Yeah, they don't care about Quick Bite.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh,
70% of respondents said they thought Quibi was a food delivery service.
awesome.
You got it.
According to 2 people separately briefed on the research.
Well, like some marketing guy lost his job in that one. Like, let's put this at the Oscars. Millennials don't care about the Oscars.
No,
It
they
sounds
really
like they had a lot of, and we hear this all the time in sales, opportunities
Right.
to put it out there, but target audience is like everything. If you're not approaching your target demo, then you're spraying water on a fire that can't be put out. Like it doesn't
Exactly.
matter.
You're trying
And
to put out a you're trying to put out a water with a spray or mister. You know, it just
If I'm
what's funny
doing
about-
something, I'm not doing nothing.
What's funny about this is the article says that Meg Whitman claims that she's a marketing genius, and Jeffrey Katzenberg claims he's an ideas genius. And Jeffrey Katzenberg has said that he knows millennials better than millennials know themselves.
disagree. I think.
That sounds like normal boomer talk to me.
Yeah. He is in his 70s. He is a boomer. And
There it is.
he's pretty much willed this into existence.
And let me-
I've seen a lot of advertisements for their shows. Nothing is really interested in me personally. If anyone out there has used it, let us know.
I am more inclined to watch something on Apple TV than I am on Quibi, and I dunked on Apple TV like crazy when it was announced.
Yeah.
But it actually has a couple of good shows, and they were able. And what's funny is the shows that are really good on Apple TV. It's just like what we talked about. It's not the ones with the big star power.
Got a good story.
It's the ones that are just good shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost count. What's the one, the really good show on there? The funny one about the game development.
Mythic Quest.
Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet. Mm-hmm. It's got Rob McElhenney.
Yeah.
McElhenney?
Yeah, I wouldn't count him as a big star. I mean, he's only known for Sunny.
Right.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He's super talented, but he's not
great.
like front and center in a lot of different
Exactly.
things.
I was talking to my wife about Quibi, and so their hook is 10-minute segments, but from what I read in the article, many of these shows and movies have like a cliffhanger at the end of each show. To me, when I'm watching something, the easiest place to pause it and move on with your life is in the middle, not when there's a cliffhanger. So it seems to me that just a normal show with a pause button is a lot more accessible to like a 10-minute
Right.
span of time than something that will leave you wanting more afterwards, if it really does leave you wanting more.
Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
that makes
Disney
sense.
Plus acquired a license for the TV show, the Australian TV show Bluey. Have you guys seen that show at all?
No.
It's like got a couple of dogs, and it's a great show, but it's gained a lot of
Blue's
popularity.
Clues?
No. It's just Bluey, but it's gained a lot of popularity over here. So much that they're actually bringing the studio over here to America to
Wait,
start
is it
producing
Blue's
here in
Clues?
Love that show.
One more time. Is it Blue's
Kinda like
Clues?
us.
Oh, did you say Blue's Clues? Yeah, it's Blue's Clues. Yeah, that's totally it.
What's the demographic for Bluey?
Oh, dude, my daughter's age, like 2.
Oh, okay,
like
so it's
2
a
to
little kid
10.
show.
But the thing is like it's great for adults too, right? But yeah. But the thing is in Australia they loaded it onto Disney Plus as it airs in Australia, as in I think it has 3 segments in it. So each episode has like 3 different blocks, and sometimes you're
okay,
going to
yeah,
see
for
the
sure.
same block, the same whatever module or whatever in like 2 back-to-back shows. But the thing is, it's like 30 to 45 minutes long an episode. They've since broken it up into like their own things ever since they brought the studio over here, and it's annoying. Like they're 5 minutes long, and Disney Plus doesn't autoplay the next thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it
that
does
would be
not.
terrible.
Yeah, they do not.
And
I was going
when
to
you-
say too. Who
Yep.
wants a cliffhanger every 10 minutes? That just kind of gets annoying.
not
and, like,
this guy.
As a culture, we've learned to binge watch. Like Netflix gave us
Yeah,
that gift.
we've been trained
and,
now.
I think
and,
Golden Corral originally gave us that gift.
Yeah,
That was
I mean,
just
Netflix
binging.
just
Netflix is like, you know what? You know what I
my
like?
mistake.
I like. What if we did the Golden Corral for video?
people don't care
like
about their gullet. They're not going to care about their brains either.
Nope.
Get it in there.
Somebody's like, ship it. That's it. Golden Corral of video.
Get Kevin
like-
in here.
And so that's the thing. Like we want to binge, and it like there's a whole culture around being able to stop yourself from binging. Like
Yeah.
like some people are like, you know what, today, the only good thing I did today was get up and not watch the next episode. I hit stop before Netflix autoplayed the next one.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
My mama didn't raise no quitter.
Anyway, so I don't see just any traction behind something that
Oh.
it's like it's designed for these little 10-minute bites of video. I'm like, you know what? When I watch video, I get like a bucket of whatever I can to eat. And I sit down and I'm committed for the longer the better. I'm turning my brain off. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire, if you ask me.
Well,
But speaking of video codecs, though, on your mobile devices, Owen's got an article here about the new H.266 extra, etc. that's coming out. It's got some pretty cool advantages over the previous version.
it's like that show. What's that show?
Better Call Saul.
Blue's Clues?
No, not Blue's Clues. The one about the new video code. The one about data compression. What's it called?
Silicon Valley.
Silicon. That's the
Pied
one.
Piper.
Silicon Valley. Anyway, so the new codec, it's really cool. It drops data requirements by 50% while still maintaining the quality of the stream,
That's crazy.
which is just crazy. And that's compared to the new H.265 HEVC. Have you seen the difference in a video in that, James?
Yeah. And something I want to talk about is I've only had one one experience with H.265, and so it's weird to me that they're already doing H.266. But
Yeah,
H.265 is awesome.
Right. H.265, and most things support that now. H.265, I have yet... My media server is bloated with H.264 videos. When I look at a show or at some video, I am seeing, like 70% difference between H.264 and H.265. And so when I see H.266 and I'm like, that's 50% below that.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. And I think this is all in preparation for streaming 8K, making 4K the new standard and 8K the new...
Oh, I hope 8K is not the new standard. That's just so unnecessary.
I know.
Yeah, it really is.
I think it's a ways off, but Comcast is going to love this because you'll be able to watch twice as much Netflix and not get bothered by their data cap.
I think
they charge you
Netflix.
for.
I think Netflix will like it too. Like in this world of open internet, like Netflix and streaming video takes up the bulk of the entire country's backbone and their broadband, and so this really comes at a time when it's a big step. But the crazy thing about this is all the companies. So this was actually created by I want to find this guy's name, Fraunhofer.
It's a company. It's not a game.
It's a Fraunhofer is a company, and it's backed by a bunch of different big
corporations are people too.
That's right. So sad. That was a Freudian slip there where I just meant to say what I did. Anyway, so Apple, Ericsson, Intel, Huawei. Thanks, Jarron, for teaching me that word so painfully. Microsoft, Qualcomm, and Sony. They all kind of got behind this, and they're gonna license it into the Media Coding Industry Forum. But it's like 30. That's just a few, but there's like 34 major companies. So it's cool because it'll have a lot of support going forward for stuff. But kind of don't expect it anytime real soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit.
Yeah, there's no devices there's not even a chip yet that is on the market that can handle the H.266 codec. I mean, H.265 is actually still pretty new too. Like most stuff you stream to. You have there's a few Android TVs that have it that'll play it natively, but I have some H.265 content on my Plex server, and I find that my Plex server just spends a lot of its power converting that back to H.264 to serve it out. So not a lot of stuff. There's no real market for it yet, but it's kind of one of those things that's coming in the future for most stuff. It's really cool just to see a 50% reduction. That's a pretty significant drop in size there.
Yeah, for sure. Cool stuff. Okay, so similarly, Owen, with the new formats and stuff, we got new USB-C protocol because it's been a month since the last one.
Right. So if you are not tired of checking and being fooled on Amazon or eBay buying your cables and you want to have some more confusion, what is this? Is this cable going to light my device on fire? Here we go again. Thunderbolt 4.
Hooray!
So they're officially pushing Thunderbolt 4 as a standard now in order to be qualified as Thunderbolt 4, it has to do some very specific functions. and that includes being able to drive 40 gigabits and some power requirements in order to get that Thunderbolt 4 thing. But Intel is the one that's going to be, you know, they're
They're the ones that make Thunderbolt.
They're the one that makes Thunderbolt, and so this will help with docks and audio. It's kind of just pushing USB-C forward as the master cable even more, which
One cable to rule them all.
I'm ready for that. I'm sick of all the different ones. I would be happy if this was the last one. It's USB-C, but I'm sure we'll have more of those. What's really interesting is that, you know, Intel, everybody wants, like, you know, it's all about your accessories now. Like, what can your USB-C cable do? Can it rapid charge your phone? Can it act as a full-on dock? Like, if you don't, like, a lot of laptops used to have that serial dock connector underneath, and if you wanted true, like, ability to drive monitors and all the data flow and all that, and really have a true dock, you had to have that serial connector. And now it's switched to just a USB-C connection, which, when it was USB 3, even USB 2, like, that was always a huge bottleneck, like, with port replicators and trying to do that. And so now USB-C is kind of fixing that problem, but AMD, being the owners of that technology, have kind of
You mean Intel?
Intel, sorry, they've cut AMD out of it, so you can't get these.
Well, what they do is they charge a licensing fee.
Yeah,
And AMD doesn't. Well, AMD doesn't have to do the licensing. It's the motherboard manufacturers.
Exactly. Yeah, to put that on the chip, and they just haven't done that yet.
I believe there is one motherboard you can get from ASRock that has Thunderbolt 3 for an AMD socket, and it's expensive.
Yeah. And so OEM systems based on rival AMD CPUs have never had this technology, basically USB-C. And AMD's reaction is, we don't really need it. They've dismissed the need for Thunderbolt. So now even with regular Thunderbolt, they were just kind of like, people don't want it. And now Intel's made it harder even for AMD to get it. So
Apple's still going to support it when they switch over to ARM.
right.
Are they really?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How funny would it be to see them if they chose not to and went back to USB Type A on their computers?
Right. Oh my gosh. And
that would be hilarious.
At the end of this article here, it does say too that to muddy things even further, Thunderbolt is also going to encompass PCIe, DisplayPort, and USB power delivery standards. So all of those other standards will be bundled under Thunderbolt 4 for this as well. So
yeah, that's kind of the gist I got out of the stuff I read about it. Is it basically says if you want to. It's just a refined version of Thunderbolt 3, where they say if you want to be considered Thunderbolt 4, you have to meet all these bare minimum specs.
Exactly.
It has to support all of these things at the bare minimum, which wasn't necessary to be considered Thunderbolt 3. And so they just wrap it all up into one and say you got to do it all if you want to be Thunderbolt 4.
Right.
Because it's not any faster than Thunderbolt 3 either. They both top out at 40 gigabytes a second.
Yep. So. It's just it's really just a standardization thing that's just like when AT&T came out with 5G E.
Oh, that was the second time they lied to consumers.
Right. And they were like, it's 5G.
I'm sure they lied a lot more than that.
E. It's just a branding thing. It's a pitch to get people, Thunderbolt 4 is better than Thunderbolt 3, So we'll
kind of feels that way, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, interesting.
All right, James, one man's trash is another man's opportunity.
Are you guys getting excited to have your personal data tracked via your garbage?
Love it.
Because if you aren't, get ready. In
Smart
Leeds, England, they are actually offering, they have 30 garbage cans as a limited test run of smart garbage cans, which help to compact your garbage and lower your carbon footprint.
They identify what you put in it, or they just help compact it?
No. They help compact it, but the thing is they monitor when your garbage can is full. And what's kind of interesting is they said this was an unintended consequence of doing something like this. Is they then find out, okay, if they can mark when your trash can's full, they can actually track the pandemic and the footprint of the pandemic. as in like the trash cans that they've set around the train station aren't being filled up as much, so they see a lot of people aren't necessarily willing to travel right now.
Okay. Interesting.
Versus at the city center and the civic centers, where apparently their government has stepped in a lot more during this time to help out with community needs, that has seen like a exponential growth in terms of full trash cans. So it's just interesting that they can use it as tracking for small businesses that like, hey, we see that small business trash cans are starting to fill up, which means that and it's interesting how they've used something like this to disseminate information and gather data from people and not use it to target ads, but actually use it to the benefit of the community. Not to sound cynical, but to sound super cynical.
I would love how they do it to target ads. Like you see some guy throws away, like Taco Bell every day for lunch, Taco Bell wrappers,
right.
And then his computer targets like
stepdads in your area.
I was going to say target something like what's that, anti-Imodium?
Yeah. they're like, are you always on the John?
Yeah,
this is for you.
That's not to knock Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell.
Oh, dude.
For some people, it tears them up.
No, that's when the camera inside your toilet would work.
Right.
Oh yeah, for the anal prints. Yeah,
That's right. Ba-dink, chink.
Always coming back to the butts.
The anal prints will sync with your garbage can.
Yeah, so I'm reading this, and they've got a project in London called an initiative dubbed Project Odysseus, which is aimed at understanding the city's busyness. So that trash cans are just one more data point there. They can, like you said, they can put these in public places, and they can say, oh yeah, there's not a lot of trash being taken out here or whatever. So it's one more randomized point of data.
I still think it'd be cool. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just crazy how every piece of data counts these days.
Data is key, right?
The big data and the sorting and categorization of data is just, it's what the world runs on now. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It's like we're all ones and zeros, therefore re-solidifying that we're just in a simulation.
And James, from a marketing standpoint, have you seen better success with targeted ads that use that data and AI to get the ads in front of the right people? Or
why
do you
don't
just
you go ahead and
blasting?
ask Quibi that question?
Right. Well, I still
Quibi.
I gotta go find a poster so I know what they are.
Oh, static advertising is very important. It's one of the only pieces of advertisement that exists in 2020 that you can't turn off.
Head over to the T-Mobile, check out that poster. Also, when did you turn to a Wisconsinian? James? That was amazing.
I hear that so much.
You've been watching a lot of.
Usually your accents are horrible, but that was
nailed
pretty good.
it. What's that show? Fargo. You've been watching a lot of Fargo lately?
No, dude. There's so many shows out there that that I've been meaning to dive into, but like. Everybody says they're so good that like I don't want them to be over. You know what I mean?
All right, we got time for 2 more stories and then James's Gameses. Jarron, you had this last week and I wanted to hit on it, but we ran out of time. Quarantine tech you've purchased.
Yeah, it's been hard. I've taken out my sorrows on tech, stuff that I don't really need, but. Since I'm bored, I research it, then I convince myself I need it, and then next thing I know, a few $100s are gone. How about that?
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
Is that the whole story? Or,
no, there's more.
Okay.
More. So
I can't believe I chose this as one of the last 2 stories.
So we decided that we wanted to try some outdoor movies. We have a deck with a sunshade, and I thought we could use that as a projection screen. So I wanted to find a projector with a built-in battery, which narrows it down considerably, like from 100 options to like 1.
That's a lot.
But I also wanted to maintain visual quality up to a point. So there's only a few options out there. Anchor makes one. It's called the Nebula Mars Pro. It's like $550. You get 500 lumens of brightness. but it's only 720p, which in 2020 is a disappointment. I found this rando company called XGimi, and they make this
what?
XGimi, XGIMI.
Okay.
They make this little projector. It looks almost exactly like a Sonos, only a little bit smaller. Has Harman Kardon speakers in it, and by the way, that Harman Kardon, if you see that, does not mean it's good sound quality anymore. But it's a 1080p projector. It has a built-in battery, which lasts 2 to 3 hours.
A movie, at least one movie.
Yeah, and it's 1080p. Only problem is it's 300 lumens of brightness, which is not very bright. If it's dark though, it's bright enough. I'm not squinting or anything like that. I feel like it's bright enough. And so anyway, I set that all up, and we've been having outdoor movies. The sound was kind of bad, so I thought, I need a better sound system here. The XGimi has Android TV built into it, and with that Bluetooth support. So I bought a Hyperboom, and paired that up with my what was that, Tony?
You got such a good deal on this.
I did.
And I hate you for it.
They just barely came out for $400. I found one for $200. Some guy on KSL.
And it's legit.
Selling
It's real.
Yeah. I have it.
Did he just go through a divorce or something?
I think from what Jarron was saying, it sounded like that might have been causing a divorce.
Yeah. He said his wife didn't want him to have it anymore, so I was the lucky guy who picked it up for half price, even though it's pretty much brand new and it just came out. So you pair that up, and voila, beautiful sound in an outdoor movie. The Hyperboom is so cool. It's like 12 pounds. It's about as big as what I think the Xbox Series X is in my brain. So just kind of imagine that. And it has really good sound. Connects over Bluetooth, and you can connect it to other UE boom speakers. So you can have multiple speakers broadcasting the same thing. Well, yes. So anyway, outdoor movies. It's been pretty awesome. I'd rate the XGimi probably a 7 out of 10. It's kind of buggy, and it's some random company, but there's really no other game in town at the moment unless you want to go 720p and go for the Anchor, which might have been the probably better choice overall, but yeah, who knows. So
how they compare in prices? Was it more expensive than the Anchor?
List price is the same. I got it on Amazon deal of the day for $420 instead of $550, which was a lot more palatable. But in addition to that, like I've mentioned on previous episodes, I've also bought a VR headset. I've bought a new car. It's been...
Jeez.
You got a new car? What's your new car?
I got a Chevy Bolt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's been bad. I'm really hoping things get back to normal sometime.
Your mesh Wi-Fi that you had to send back.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I also got the mesh Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out to be a bad investment, so I took that one back. Feels like I'm missing something, too. Oh, yeah. I also got those Sony earbuds, WF-1000, whatever. Yeah.
Jeez.
Those have been really good, too.
This guy.
That's how you've been dealing with your COVID woes, your quarantine.
Yeah. But mainly wanted to report on that because I found this new classic Gadget, which I didn't know about before, being a projector with a battery in it that is completely self-contained. It's kind of cool. I never known about these, and it's a cool gadget. They're using new LED tech, so that's how you can actually have a projector with batteries in it and not have it be completely horrible. I think it's a good thing to keep your eye out on over the next few years. I think they will become much better. Probably higher resolution, better battery life, better sound coming out of the speaker. But it's a cool idea, and something you could take on vacations as well. It has a USB port, so you can just hook up. You can put movies onto a USB stick, or you can just hook your iPad up to it via the HDMI input. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
I want it. It looks nice. I also want to have the Benjamins to do that because that sounds awesome.
All right.
I swear there's something else too, but I forgot.
Jeez. Well, what do you think? Owen, do you want to talk about the routers that fail the security test.
Man, that was not a good. So actually, we got this as a email, or somebody messaged in. I think they texted in from the website about this one, pushed this story to us. But I was reading through it, and it's pretty. It's not good. This company took many of the home routers out there. So I've long been a proponent of not using home routers software. I like to beef it up with some sort of third party,
Tomato.
Whatever. Tomato or a DDWRT or whatever. I think it's fun to mess with those and take their hardware that's really good and put better software on there.
Asus Merlin.
Merlin's a really good one too. Well, hey, this is that same company, Fraunhofer.
Fraunhofer.
Didn't we just talk about these guys?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
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 They did the Codec, right? Anyway, well, they took out they did a study involving 127 home routers from 7 brands to check security vulnerabilities. And of those 127, 46 had not got a single update within the past year to address any security concerns whatsoever. And then others were just shipping their firmware with known vulnerabilities in them. And they said that Asus and Netgear do a better job with securing routers than D-Link, Linksys, TP-Link, and Zyxel.
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 Is it?
Never even heard
Zixel?
of that.
Zixel?
We need
had
cooler
Zixel-
named
Zixel
companies.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Zixel. So, anyway, there was only one that didn't. I don't know. I don't quite understand this. There's only one router manufacturer. This was the only one that didn't publish private cryptographic keys in its router firmware. So basically, the crypto keys for your traffic are housed in the firmware. They're just generic ones, kind of like hard-coded passwords, so people could decrypt your traffic. Anyway, they said 90% of the routers are running some sort of Linux operating system, but they're not being updated. So the crazy thing is I think you can go and get firmware. So they don't push them. Nobody gets into their home routers. Like, that's kind of what I found being in IT. I don't see a lot of people that go, oh, I better go check my home router for an update. There's no way for the home router to communicate to you. Like, it can't, most people don't go to Netgear or Asus and create an account, which would say when you get your new router, you don't go register it and be like, oh, this is my router and this is my Asus account. There's no way to really communicate with you to tell you.
Stupid people. How would they do it though if they wanted to?
I don't know that. I really don't know if that's even a thing. If you can register your Asus or Netgear router or whatever, and then they'll send you communication. My hesitation with that is I don't need more junk mail, and when they only release an update, once a year, if that means they're going to have my email address for 364 other days to send me updates about their new products, and
Right.
I'm not super interested in that. So I would probably not. Myself, I get on and check for updates all the time. I just log into the router, hit the check for updates, and see what it does. But that is one of the downsides to running these third-party firmwares like I do and like Jarron's running Merlin, is that they don't get a lot of security patches being kind of out of the mainstream. They're inherently more secure just because the people that originally built them were like, that's a loophole, and you can do more. You can actually get into them more and change stuff. But I think I've been running the same Tomato firmware on my R8000, my Netgear R8000 for 4 years, and they don't do updates to that. They don't do security patches to that. So it's kind of a trade-off. When you go for more power, more functionality, you also kind of slip out of the mainstream updates for 0-day bugs.
Merlin, the Asus Merlin firmware, they update it quite a bit. I updated mine for the first time in like 2 years, a couple weeks ago, and I missed like 20 updates in that time.
But didn't you have to revert it?
Huh?
Didn't you have to revert your update?
No, I kept it.
Oh, okay.
It worked.
So in the show notes, there's actually 2 links, one to the story, but then there's also a list of all the routers that failed, and you can go check and see if your router's on that list. I recommend anybody that is savvy enough to get into their home router to go in there and do two things. Number one is to change your default password if you haven't. Don't keep the admin or the the password. There are some states that are requiring laws for those router manufacturers to not actually have those be standardized anymore, but that's pretty difficult to do when you're stamping out thousands of routers a day on a production line. And then the other thing is to go in there and check for updates regularly. Like go check for security updates, change your default password. If you're a little bit more savvy, I would recommend changing your default network off of the standard 192.168.1 or 0. Those are pretty common, pretty easy to do to change your DHCP scope on those. They're just basic stuff, but kind of make you more secure if attackers do come
basic.
after. Yeah, super basic. James could do it.
It's Tomato 101.
James, it's routing 101. You could do it.
It's called
Tomato
de-seeding the tomato.
101.
I believe you. I believe in you, James.
I'm pretty
could-
sure
you
my
could do it.
modem has been not updated.
There's
It's a
about
router.
800 videos on YouTube about how to do it, so
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it's not too bad.
I remember the other thing I bought. Yeah, Edifier bookshelf speakers. I had never heard of the
That's
Edifier
right.
brand. I had never heard of the Edifier brand before, but I'm glad I found them because they make awesome bookshelf speakers. If you're looking for computer speakers that are a little bit higher quality than what's out there, they have really good speakers for really good price, ranging from $70 all the way up to $1,000.
No subwoofers though.
Yeah, who needs subwoofers for computer speakers,
Everyone
man?
needs a subwoofer.
You like them though? You like them?
They are the clearest speakers I've ever heard in my life. I was listening to music this morning, and my son snuck up behind me, and I thought it was part of the music because his spoken voice was just as clear as the music I was listening to.
Oh.
And he scared the crap out of me because I didn't know he was there. Anyway,
What model did you go with?
the the S2000 Mark III.
Okay.
But they are amazing speakers. So if you guys are in the market, go check them out.
There's some nice ones. The S3000 Pros that have they've got aptX on there.
Do they have
This
a
has-
subwoofer?
Sorry, I just wanted to say aptX.
Yeah, I know. I think all of their stuff supports aptX
Yeah.
that has Bluetooth anyway.
Bluetooth 5.0, aptX wireless, USB audio. These look really good. I've been looking for
They're
something like this.
They're pretty too. I really like their design. I think they're better looking than the Audio Engine bookshelf speakers, which are also lookers.
Yeah. So and the Edifier S350DB has a 2.1. Looks like a subwoofer and two speakers
Aha! There you go, Tony.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
here. Yeah, that's the S350DB.
Very cool. All right, James. Time for James's Gameses.
All right, I believe that we're on 97 because I remember last week I was saying 96 because their pennies tasted good. Okay, so 97. If you don't know what James's Games are, I'm going back every year and at least narrowing it down to my top 5 favorite games of the year since the year I was born. So 97, starting off strong with Star Fox 64.
What a great game.
That
Is
was
that
the
game
first
actually
game I-
good? I've tried it before. It's kind of boring.
It was
Oh,
great.
no, it's really good.
I was not a huge fan.
Star Fox 2 sucked. I got the NES Mini for that game,
Yeah, it is.
and it
Wait,
was
wait, wait.
horrible.
Are you talking about Star Fox SNES or Star Fox 64?
Star Fox 64.
The unreleased one is the one no one's talking about.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
Star Fox 2. It
Yeah.
was on the SNES
Listen,
Classic.
you guys with complete families over there that already have it,
We're not doing
together
this.
and going on, just let us halvesies just have this one, okay?
All right.
Star Fox 64.
Okay.
No, that's fine. You can enjoy that game.
Yep.
Enjoy it, James.
Now I'm a little bit nervous that you're going to crap on the rest of the games because these games were actually all really good.
You should be expecting that every time you do this segment.
GoldenEye.
Oh, what a good game.
Man,
I'm
that
not,
game,
you know what? I'm not
and
looking
back,
at you guys for approval. I'm not
Back
looking
in
at
the
you guys.
day, that game was the shiznit.
This
It
was
was
this
it was fun
is,
to play together.
This
And
was
then-
the
and
genesis of first-person shooters, right?
It was on consoles. It was for
Right.
sure. And then you go back and you try to play it now, and oh boy, does it not hold up to your
No,
memory.
it doesn't.
Holy cow.
I cut my teeth. I cut. This was my game. So if I have a moment where I said this is where I started gaming, it was with GoldenEye. Like against. Before I would just kind of play whatever. Like
You're a casual.
yeah, but once GoldenEye came out, and like me and my brothers would get on there, and like it was just that was when I was like, wow, gaming is actually a social event and can be really fun.
It was the first game I ever played that I like memorized the levels and
If you read the story, they have a really good story out about it. I'd have to find the article, but
They made a movie.
Are you talking about
It's
the
called
movie?
GoldenEye.
no,
James Bond?
there's an article about the guys that made the game, and it was kind of just an accident. Like it wasn't
The multiplayer was an
the
accident.
the
I
multiplayer
went to
of
go
it was an
make
accident.
spaghetti and accidentally made a video game.
They're like, we just thought it'd be fun to like play against each other, and that ended up being like the genesis of like first-person shooters and competitive and like all that type of stuff on console.
It was something that they were just toying around with. Like I think it was like 4 months before the game shipped.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, "Man, this is really fun. We should
Really
probably
fun.
put it in the
Yep.
game."
Yep.
It was built by I think like that. The multiplayer was built by like 3 guys. I think.
Mm-hmm. And it's completely random. The story is really great because they actually interview those guys, and they're like, did you think it would get as big as it did? And they were like, absolutely not. We just thought it was fun, and shipped it. And so I love that game.
Next is Age of Empires. Number 1.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, this was a good year.
Completely agree with you on that one.
Next is Crash Bandicoot 2. Not
Electric
so much for that one.
Boogaloo? Oh.
And Gran Turismo, the first one on PlayStation.
What a great game! That was also my jam. That kind of like that game.
Whoa! You had an N64 and a PlayStation?
I had a cousin that had a PlayStation.
Man.
And we used to go over there all the time.
So that's kind of what I still base all my love for Gran Turismo off of the first one. And then you guys are like, actually, you know what? Forza is better. And I'm like, oh, because I haven't played any of the other ones after that. I just have such a good nostalgic feeling about the first one.
Yeah.
What are the things that you love? No. Those suck.
Exactly.
This is
Right.
what's good.
That's pretty much what we do to each other all throughout every episode.
So it was like
That's what makes the podcast work.
So what's the latest Gran Turismo on PS4 now? Is it Gran Turismo 4?
15.
No, Gran Turismo Sport. It's
And
not a numbered entry. PS5 will have Gran Turismo 7 has been announced and confirmed.
So
7?
I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, man, I got to get on that. And then you're like, actually, just do Forza. Oh, okay.
It's really weird. There's an interesting video from Digital Foundry that goes through the Gran Turismo games that was put up recently, and up until the PS4, you got 2 or even sometimes 3. No, it was 2. You got 2 Gran Turismo games per console. Gran Turismo 1 and 2 on PlayStation. You had 3 and 4 on PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3, you had Gran Turismo 5 and A-Spec, I think was what it was called as well. And then for PlayStation 4, all of a sudden it's like, well, I mean, here's Gran Turismo Sport. It's not really a full Gran Turismo game, but it's pretty close, but it's not a numbered title. Yeah, that's all we're going to do for this platform.
They must have been making 7 the whole time, and that goes back to our ballooning budgets of games discussion.
Polyphony Digital has a huge problem with just spending too much time on perfecting their game. Yeah.
Well, and Gran Turismo, I guess I can maybe understand they do that as that one get done as like tournament racing? Like,
Yeah,
don't
it's
they
supposed
have
to be like the ultimate driving sim?
Yeah, like
basically.
they make. I've seen like custom seat rigs and like game rigs built around that to look like actual car bodies, and like I've seen some pretty crazy builds around that Gran Turismo for the esports and stuff.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I got for 97.
Right on.
It's a good list.
Thanks for that, James. Thanks
Solid
for making
year.
it to the end, listener.
Next
Hope
year is
you
even
enjoyed.
better.
98 coming up next year for James's Games is in the next episode of Gadget Spot. Tell a friend about us if you liked it. If you didn't like it, don't tell
Please
anyone.
don't tell anybody. Yeah, just keep it to yourself.
And hopefully we'll...
Certainly don't rate us.
Yeah. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.